The first thing you notice in a Chicago courtroom, it's a mix of old paper, floor polish, and something else, a kind of stale desperation. That smell is burned into my memory because that's where my life ended and my nightmare began. I was 22 years old, framed for an armed robbery I didn't commit. The system gave me a lawyer, my only hope, but I soon realized my court-appointed attorney wasn't there to defend me. He was there to make sure I went to prison. This is my story. What would you do if the one man who holds your life in his hands is being paid to drop it? Tell me your thoughts in the comments. I'll be reading them. I wasn't a criminal. I was a community college student, working 2 jobs. One at a diner, one stocking shelves, just to help my mom keep the lights on. My life was classes, work, sleep, repeat. The night of the robbery, I'd stopped at a convenience store on my way home from my night class to buy a soda. That's it. That was my crime. The real robber hit the place 10 minutes after I left, but the cops didn't care. They had my face on a grainy security tape, and that was good enough for them. When the judge assigned me my lawyer, Frank O'Connell, any hope I had just died. The guy looked like he'd slept in his suit for a week. His briefcase was held together with duct tape, and you could smell the faint scent of cheap whiskey on his breath. Everyone in the holding cells knew his reputation. They called him Frankie Plea. He never fought. He just made deals. Our first meeting was a joke. He didn't ask me for my alibi. He didn't ask about witnesses. He just slumped in his chair, stared at a spot on the wall behind me, and mumbled, "Look, kid, the DA's offering 10 years. If you fight this and lose, you're getting 25. Take the deal." I told him I was innocent. I told him I was in my political science class across town when it happened. I told him my professor could prove it. He just waved his hand like he was shooing away a fly. He didn't even write it down. That's when he started letting me drown. First, he forgot to file a motion to challenge the witness ID, even though the witness said the robber was 6 inches taller than me. Then he missed the deadline to submit my alibi. I would call his office desperate, leaving messages that were never returned. I felt like I was sinking in quicksand, and my own lawyer was the one pushing my head under. I'd see him in the courthouse hallway, laughing with the prosecutor, a slick guy named Thompson. They'd clap each other on the back, and then O'Connell would walk past me like I didn't exist. My mom, God bless her, she never gave up. She saw what was happening. She took money from her retirement fund, money she didn't have, and hired a private investigator, an old retired cop named Sal. Sal started digging into O'Connell, and what he found proved I wasn't just paranoid, I was being sold out. O'Connell was broke, always in debt, but Sal found it. A single, untraceable deposit into his ex-wife's bank account made 1 week after he took my case. Sal kept digging and found the source, a shell company owned by a real estate mogul whose son, a kid with a history of violence and a striking resemblance to me, was the real robber. They were paying my lawyer to bury me. The day of closing arguments, my heart was pounding out of my chest. I was going down. Then something unbelievable happened. Just as the prosecutor, Thompson, was about to stand up, he got a text. I saw his face go completely white, like he'd seen a ghost. He started sweating. He immediately asked the judge for a sidebar. I had no idea what was going on, but for the first time in months, I felt a flicker of hope. Minutes later, the judge declared a mistrial. I found out later what happened. Sal, the PI, had sent that text. It was a bluff. All it said was, "We know you know about O'Connell. The bank records go public in 1 hour." It was enough. Thompson panicked, terrified of being tied to the bribery. The whole rotten scheme came crashing down. O'Connell was disbarred and went to prison himself. The mogul and his kid were arrested, and me, I was finally free. I used the settlement money from my lawsuit to finish my degree. Then I started a nonprofit, one that connects people like me, people the system throws away, with lawyers who actually fight. My life was stolen from me by the very man who was supposed to save it. It's a bitter pill to swallow, but I'm living proof that even when the system is corrupt to its core, you can't give up the fight. What Marcus endured was a betrayal of the highest order. If his story proves anything, it's that justice is never guaranteed. If you believe the system needs to change, hit that subscribe button, because next week we're telling the story of the doctor who misdiagnosed a child and the innocent parent who was convicted of the crime. Another verdict has been rendered. Now,